I have two local Austin artists, Ken Webster and Beth Webster, in the house. Ken Webster, also known as the artistic director of Hyde Park Theater.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for being here. And Beth Webster, the writer of a new podcast called Come and Take It.
Hi, Michael.
We want to help people tell their stories. We love the artists in the city, and we want to be able to help as many of those people as possible. So we came up with this program, the Podcast Hatchery, to try to fund the creation of artist-driven podcasts. More about that at patreon.com/makeeverymedia. But what we're here to do today is very exciting because we are about to launch and premiere the pilot episode of a podcast that we've been working on now for several months. You know, before we get into all that, I just wanted to ask, how's isolation going for y'all? What are you doing to keep busy? What are you watching?
I'm splitting time being at the house and making trips to the theater to check the mail and such. And we can't do plays now, but we've been doing some online programming on the Hyde Park Theater YouTube channel. And we've been doing that since March 28th. And we've got Frontera Fest, Best of the Fest 2019 will be on the Hyde Park Theater YouTube channel this Friday and Saturday night at 8. Working with Eric Graham and Kathy Catmull to get that all together for this weekend.
Very nice. I got some of Frontera Fest last week. I caught a little Steve Moore short play. Mm-hmm. Really good about the writing process. Ooh, and grief. Oh, it got me. What about you, Beth? How have you been keeping sane? Have you been writing?
No, I can't write because I'm too nervous, and I've kind of given up on sanity, which has been a relief. And now I'm just going on amazing trips in my mind with lavish budgets, luxury trips. I just came back from Russia in the winter with Dr. Zhivago and everybody.
Ooh.
Yes,
I love him.
That was great. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Rwanda to visit the gorillas, which I've always wanted to do. Money's no object, see? This is what I'm doing. And it's working out beautifully for me, and I don't care.
That's great.
I'm getting out of here anyway. So.
I'm glad you have an itinerary. I'm glad you have it like scheduled out so you know where you're going tomorrow in your mind.
And I squeezed you in. I did.
We really appreciate you taking the time out of your vacation to be
I'm happy
here.
To do it. I'm happy to do it.
And premiere this thing. I mean, I think, speaking of mind trips, I mean, that's a, flawless segue, if you will. I think it's just about time to go ahead and take a trip ourselves into Beth's mind as we hear the 8-minute pilot episode of Come and Take It. Do you want to give us like a brief introduction?
Well, this is the story, and it's a true story. And so many countries have lost their icon, what they fought for, what they believed in. And in Texas, what we had was the Alamo flag. Santa Anna took it back to Mexico, and we've been trying to get it back ever since. So our hero, Reed, Ken Webster, goes on a one-man journey to retrieve the Alamo flag back for the state of Texas. And he goes on quite an adventure. It just goes wild. So, and he's the only guy that could do it. Ken Webster's the only guy that could play, that could be Reed. So it's perfect.
Well,
and you guys are good too. You guys made the atmosphere you created. I've never listened to a podcast that I've enjoyed as much.
Oh.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Thank
I'm
you
very
so
proud
much.
to be part of it. Yeah.
I think we can't possibly have a better introduction than that. We should, without further ado, go ahead and play the podcast, right? Right, everybody? Right, viewers?
Yeah.
Out there on the Earth Wide Web? All right. Okay, we're going to do this in 3, 2, buckle your seatbelts, everybody. Enjoy the next 8-minute ride. 1.
Had just one purpose in this life, one goal, and it took me 45 years to get it. I never even thought about anything else. Nothing compared to the money. You're listening to Come and Take It, written by Beth Webster, performed by Ken Webster, produced by Make Every Media. This is Chapter 1. My father, old Ben, he made me work for every penny. Watched me like a hawk, threatened to take me out of his will for the smallest infraction. I couldn't breathe, let alone go through any of the normal dog piles of shit people just naturally step in while growing up. I had to do it all his way. Right schools, right sports, football, of course. And even my marriage. I did it all. Hell, I even worked for the bastard. I wanted everything he had. Played his game perfectly for 45 years. Hell, that bastard just wouldn't die. When he finally did, not one tear was shed by anyone. It surprised me a little. Everyone else was faking it just like me. He got a little respect, though, being that old Ben was a legend, the last of the Texas Wildcatters. He lived his life like a glorified gypsy. When one luxury hotel got tired of his debauched ass, he just moved to another. Why, his social skills were so legendary, new terms had to be invented to explain his behavior. Here's a perfect example. He met my poor mother when he was 45, and she was a 21-year-old, wet-behind-the-ears sales girl in Neiman Marcus. She was wed and pregnant by him all in a month of exceptional wooing. The wedding was held at the Shamrock Hilton. Well, that hotel is gone. Now it's a parking lot. But at the time, it was grand. Houston's social event of the season. She was snapped up by the swells of Houston and then quickly abandoned when the baby boy was born. The poke and out. She didn't know what hit her. Here's another old Ben classic. He had a long-suffering business partner, his only brother, Sam. Well, in a very short time, always the case with Ben, there was a falling out. As always, it made him mad. This time he moved fast. He destroyed Sam's marriage by sleeping with his wife. It was just that simple. He waited a while, and when Sam was drunk and broke, he bought Sam's house and burned it down. That move became known as giving burn notice. Lots of people were afraid of Ben, and I was one of them. You might think I'm a crazy son of a bitch putting up with this crap, but when he finally kicked the bucket at 96, I inherited $120 million. Yeah, that makes sense now, don't it? I got to say, and this goes against every morality tale and needle-pointed pillow you've ever heard or seen, but I was happy I gave up half my life for this windfall. That kind of money? What a sense of freedom. I could do whatever I wanted. First thing on the agenda, I sold our family's brand to myself and burned it. Replaced it with a horny toad insignia. People knew what I was doing and they congratulated me. Next up, I gave my 18-year-old son, my 18-year-old trophy son, a huge trust fund. No waiting around for him. I wanted to see what a guy like me would do with all that money. I envisioned him traveling the world, having wild escapades with gorgeous, scantily clad teenagers of every race, creed, and color. No strings attached on this golden opportunity. Well, that dumb shit disappointed me so completely, I couldn't even look at him. All that money, all that freedom, and he chooses to be a computer gamer inside his condo. I had to give up on him. Moved on to my next victim, his mother, my ex-wife, June. This is exaggerating just a bit, but she was chosen by my father as the brood mare. She was beautiful and smart, came from a good family. Hell, she could sire his grandson. I might have liked her myself if I hadn't been pushed into it. No doubt she got a raw deal, and I was going to make it up to her. Took her out to a nice dinner. We had a good time. It went like this. How's that kid of ours? Shrug. Don't ask. She could still laugh. Perfect time to slide a check for $5 million across the table. She studied the check and said, "So that's what I'm worth," and walked out. No, thank you, darling, nothing. I deserve that, but it stung a bit. After getting that triumph under my belt, I went on to my mother. This was going to be even harder. Before she even poured the tea, I handed her a check for $10 million. For some reason, that gesture put me in such a generous mood, I forgave her. Finally, for getting the two of us into that unholy, embarrassing mess with my father, we sat down and had the first civil conversation of our entire lives. I guess by now you have figured out that I'm quite a shit. I know it, but now that I've got what I want, I'm trying to be nice. Having tea with my mother. Looks good on paper. When I asked her, "So, what are you going to do with the money?" Well, that right there is the moment my life took a steep turn to the left, straight into its chapter 2. She stunned me. She made me kind of sorry I never spoke to her before. She said she was going to put that pile of cash in with the rest of her money for what she knew she could accomplish now. And thank you very much. She actually hugged the check. I said to her, "What the hell are you talking about?" She insisted in a way that still gives me the chills that she was finally going to get the Alamo flag back for Texas. "Really?" I said. She looked me right in the eye and said, "Yes, sir, and with your help." She told me to shut up and poured more tea. I hate tea.
Okay, we did it. We did it. Did everybody hear it?
I heard it.
You heard
I
it?
heard it.
You heard it? Did everybody on the internet hear it? Is it premiered? Is it launched? Oh my gosh. It's been in our heads for so long. Did you like it? Did you like it, Ken? Did you like hearing your own voice? Do you hate hearing your own voice?
I don't hear my own voice. I'm not like Adam Driver and George Raft. I'm not one of those actors who can't stand to watch or listen to themselves perform.
Beth, did you enjoy hearing Ken's voice?
I love hearing Ken's voice. And I loved all the special effects. I just love it. So I can't wait to hear more of it.
Right?
No,
I mean,
right?
we've got several chapters ready to be produced, but the actual process of producing it and layering in all of those Foley effects, a team of 3 has been working on this, just handing it back and forth over the internet, adding little layers, brainstorming new little things like, oh, maybe some giggles would be good here. Maybe like end with the wave, so it's like a memory, you know, the end of a memory. It's been a fun process, even digitally, remotely, making media together with Seth and Tyler and you two. How did you meet Ken, Beth? Did you see him doing theater first, or?
God, we go way, way back.
Yeah.
Way back. To, how long ago was that, Ken? Like
1989?
Yes! Way back. Exercising before, that children's theater. Way back.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
watching Ken forever. Yeah. And his beautiful wife, Kathy. They're quite a team. They really are. So no one in town doesn't know them. No one in town doesn't appreciate all the work they've done. So I've always been thrilled to be. There's never a day or a conversation or a lunch with Ken where you haven't had a great time. That's true. I have to say
Agreed.
it's true.
For me,
Yes, right?
there isn't a single time when we don't, like, you know, at least quote some Mamet or Pinter back and forth. to each other. And now we have a whole other body of work with Come and Take It to quote back and forth. actor's delight.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I think anything else would be kind of spoilery, right? Is there anything you
Yeah.
can tell us, Beth, about like the inspiration for this series, or that's not
Well,
spoiler?
it happened at a cocktail party.
Mm.
A cocktail party, and this man named Jim was making martinis from the 20s that was made of lead. Made the martinis smooth like martinis should be. I've never had one before since, and I actually had 3. And we were talking, and we started talking about the Alamo flag, and it just, why don't we go get it? Why don't we go get it?
Mm.
And what's stopping us? And he told me about Connolly and George Bush, and every single governor's tried to get it since the beginning. And I'm like, well, why can't just a regular person do it? And so that's kind of how it got started. Yeah.
And it's about like finding the soul of a region, of a country, of a state,
Bringing it home.
bringing it home, finding the soul in an object, in an artifact. That's what
Yes.
really drew me to this project. Is like, oh, we're talking about history, we're talking about artifacts, but then we're also talking about fiction and Ken's beautiful voice, and it was hard to say no. Couldn't say no.
And Texas.
And Texas, yeehaw.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for being here. Y'all literally heard it here first, the premiere of Come and Take It from Make Every Media's podcast Hatchery. And if you need help with your stream, something like this, or if you need help with a podcast, Make Every Media is here for you, makeeverymedia.com. If you don't have a big budget, maybe you can be in the next round of our podcast Hatchery and get yourself a crowd-funded pilot. Speaking of which, we can't produce this thing without some help from the community. So
I know.
this took us a lot of hours to get the amount of layering that we've done and to record with Ken, and yeah, the only way that we can continue to make this season is if people can show us that they want to hear more by going to patreon.com/makeeverymedia and pledging $5, $10, $20, whatever. Hopefully we'll be able to
Finish
make
the
all
story.
We'll finish the story. We'll make all the episodes. We'll see where Reed's journey takes him after he gets the Alamo flag. Spoiler!
Yeah, because there's more.
It's a worldwide adventure, and what better podcast to premiere on Earth Day than an adventure that takes someone across
around.
the globe to find the soul of the globe in these artifacts. Speaking of which, make Mother Earth great again.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Let's
That's
do
so
it, y'all. It's Earth Day.
That's a hat I can live with. That's a hat.
Yeah, you can get one of these yourself. Just look that up. There's a campaign, to make that
Very
a global
sweet.
movement. And why not? I appreciate y'all listening and tuning in and giving us your time. We really love this story and can't wait to keep talking about it.
Fingers crossed.
And to keep making it. And if you wanna support Ken and Hyde Park Theater.
Oh yes, you can watch the shows online. They're free, but we gladly accept donations. And there's a place to donate on the front page of the Hyde Park Theater website.
HydeParkTheater.org
Correct.
with the theatra spelling.
Yes.
R-E.
Correct.
Yes. Very nice.
Fancy.
We won't get into the differences between theater and theater on this podcast. I just don't think we have time. But I did just get breaking news from the Austin Creative Alliance. Thank you to Austin Community Foundation and United Way for Greater Austin for awarding ACA a $20,000 grant for the Artist Emergency Relief Fund, which brings the fund to over $50K, which is amazing. They have been able to fund about 75 working artists. Every single penny of that goes directly towards artists in dire need. Let's support Austin Arts by supporting our most valuable asset. Austin Artists. That is austinCreativeAlliance.org/emergency and HydeParkTheatra.org. And if you want to hear more from Make Every Media and support the making of collaborative media with local artists, patreon.com/makeeverymedia. I think that's it, y'all. Happy hour and happy Earth Day.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having us,
Thank
Michael.
you. Thank you, Websters of no relation.